ang bayan kong Pilipinas, lupain ng ginto't bulaklak, pag-ibig na sa kanyang pala, nag-alay ng ganda't dilag, at sa kanyang lumi at ganda, dayuhan ay nahalina. Bayan ko, binihag ka, nasadlak sa dusa.
After 40 years of fighting and 15 years of negotiations, peace might finally be coming to the southern Philippines. Muslim separatists have signed a deal with the Philippine president. The Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF, has been fighting for its own state. More than 100,000 people have died in the conflict and millions more have fled their homes. We'll get reaction from Cotabato in the southern Philippines in a moment. That's where the MILF has its headquarters. Jamila Alindogan is there for us. But first, Wayne Hay, who is in the capital, Manila. And Wayne, what does the deal involve?
Well, certainly a lot of jubilation with the signing of this framework agreement, but an acknowledgement as well that there is a long road ahead and plenty of work to be done before we can see this permanent peace in the southern Philippines and the autonomous region implemented. So let's have a look at some of the finer details of the framework agreement as it is being called. Firstly, Islamic law will be allowed in this autonomous region, but it will only apply to the Muslim population there. Also, the economy will be a huge focus. This is one of the poorest parts of the country, but it is an area that has a huge amount of potential because of the vast natural resources that are believed to be there, particularly gold. So tapping into those natural resources will be a priority for the Philippine government and for the MILF going forward, and also sharing the benefits of those resources. But the government here in Manila will continue to be in charge of things like defense, security and foreign relations. So, as I say, still a lot of work to be done, still a lot of hurdles to overcome over the next few years as this deal is thrashed out. The government wants it implemented by 2016, and next month there will be more talks held between both sides in Malaysia once again.
And Wayne, I'm just going to bring in Jamila Alindogan, who's in the province of Cotabato in Mindanao, the island on which the semi-autonomous zone will be created. And Jamila, what impact is this going to have on the people in the region, on their lives?
Well, today we've seen exactly the initial reaction of the MILF commanders and the soldiers here. They said they're very happy that after decades of insurgency, of over 100,000 lives killed and millions displaced more, there is now a chance for them to actually see peace that they've been wanting for so long. The struggle for self-determination, they say, is now finally attainable. But we need to remember, though, that the Moro Islamic Liberation Front is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, Islamic secessionist group in Southeast Asia. They have promised to decommission when the time is right, they say. But it remains to be seen, though, whether this peace agreement will actually be fully implemented. There are many hurdles here on the ground in Mindanao. For decades, there have been political clans, there have been warlords that have taken advantage of the resources here in the Philippines. Those powers will now have to be transferred to this new political entity called Bangsamoro. So it remains to be seen whether this will be fully implemented, or again, if it will just be another piece of paper, or just like the few agreements they've had before. There are very dangerous precedents, but they said they feel very positive, they trust the presidency of President Aquino, and they trust the Central Committee of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front.
That's Jamila Alindogan joining us from Cotabato in Mindanao, and Wayne Hay joining us from Manila. Thank you both.
Okay, well, we're going to let the Bangsamoro people work out their own form of governance. And on the other side of the equation, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front said, okay, well, we're not going to fight or negotiate for independence any longer. So what this agreement does is it effectively opens up a space for the Bangsamoro people, the people in Mindanao, to come together in a democratic process and work out their own local form of governance. In effect, it takes guns out of the equation.
And Mr. Gorman, there have been agreements before, so what is different about this one?
I think there's several things that are different about it. One, first of all, you have a very well-loved president in the Philippines who has demonstrated a lot of courage with this agreement and has quite effectively brought together all the different key stakeholders in Mindanao. Mindanao is a conflict that has often been plagued by fighting among different groups, private armed groups, political clans, and other insurgent groups. And what he's done is he's brought together all the key stakeholders with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and they've worked out a more comprehensive type of arrangement among all of the people there to work out this agreement.
Okay, so what needs to happen? This is now a framework deal. What needs to happen now for a peace deal to be put into effect?
Well, what will happen now is they're going to work out the details in technical working groups on power sharing and wealth sharing and security arrangements. Then what they're going to do is create a transitional commission which will bring together all of the people down there, all of the key stakeholders within Mindanao, and they're going to work together in creating their own basic law, and that law will then be put in front of Congress for approval, and then it would be put in front of a plebiscite for approval, and then there'll be elections.
That's Mr. David Gorman from the Centre for Humanitarian Dialogue, joining us from Manila. Thank you very much.